safe so they can be played on another day. Rob's Arcade.
Good morning, guys. Oh wow, that looks. Let's change that angle. Oh, that's too weird. That looks too like biblical. What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning into Rob's Arcade. Welcome back. I'm your host, Rob French, and today's a very cool little episode. I'm kind of excited to talk about um, uh, this little or share this little story with you guys. If you've been keeping up with my channel, I've done a couple of recent videos where I've hopped into GTA here and checked out the movies here in GTA while talking about, movies, my love for films, my love for movies, just growing up today, home video and going to the movies, all of it. And it was a lot of fun. I don't know if you've had a chance to check it out.
I don't remember anything after my 12th ball game.
I don't know if you've had a chance to check it out. If you haven't, please do. Oh, my car's way down there. Are you kidding me? This is gonna hurt.
Fuck that shit.
I was trying to land in the grass. And just sharing the stories with you guys, just kind of like going down memory lane, like, watching these movies here in Los Santos and sharing these stories, which I feel bad. Real quick, let me come over here real quick and just get out of the way, just kind of talk to you guys like this here. So I feel so bad for the guys here in Los Santos because they've got like 2 movies to watch. This is actually a bad background to pick because like my hat and my shirt kind of blend in and it looks like weird, like my arms are just floating in the air. So I feel bad, like they've got like 2 movies. I was like watching these movies in Los Santos while talking about my own love for movies in the real world, and I'm like, man, they've got like 2 movies, and it felt like such. I'm always thinking about like the NPC lives in these games, like what their world is about, and I just like I was like, if one, it was sad because it's like, oh my gosh, they've only got 2 movies to watch, and then 2, it was kind of cracking me up because it's like I just see them like Monday, Ted and Roger go see the movie and they laugh at all the goofy parts. They're like, oh my gosh, at all the weird parts. And then, they leave. They're like, ha ha ha, that was great. We should do that again. And then Tuesday, they like, same thing. They laugh at all the funny parts. They're like, like the same thing over and over every night. It's like, let's go see the movie. Okay, sounds good to me. Anyway, just kind of cracks me up. But anyway, I had a good time sharing some of my stories growing up, because I grew up in the movie theaters. I mean, honestly, like I just grew up in the theater. My dad took us like every single weekend. It was something cheap to do, something affordable to do, and it's starting to rain here. That's so funny. It was foggy earlier. Which, does the weather ever match up in your GTA with like the real world? Is that something that happens with you guys? Like, I woke up this morning, kind of got my game together. I wanted to like customize a vehicle for this and get some stuff just kind of set up, and so I hopped on like about an hour ago to kind of do all of this, and it was really foggy outside this morning, and it was like really foggy in the game. Now it's not raining now, but it looked like it could, and there have been times where I've played a game. Stand under this palm tree, get some try to get some cover from the rain. And like the weather will match exactly like what's going on in the real world. It's just pretty crazy. But anyway, so going down memory lane, sharing all these movies, growing up in the movie theater, I had a lot of stories coming back, just like thinking about my first date movies and just all of that. And there was one that stood out in particular that I wanted to share with you guys. And I actually looked it up and was like trying to figure out like, wait a minute, when did this movie come out? Because I kind of felt like it came out around this time of year, which is really weird because it came out this time of year back in 1990. And it's the story of the very first movie I saw by myself. Now, I was probably too young to see this movie by myself. I was only 10 years old, but there was no way in the world I was going to miss it. And what I'm talking about today, guys, is the first time I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the live action film. Now, Ninja Turtles are still relevant today. They're still a thing today. But back then, they were like brand new, and they found me at a time, or I found them at a time, where actually kind of did like a little, actually wanted to go more yellow, I guess. It doesn't look too bad. Kind of like that there. Actually, let me change my clothes. My clothes are soaking wet. Can we do that? Let's do that real quick. Quick it in before you get. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Yay. So like, you know, like I liked G.I. Joe growing up. I liked Transformers and all of that, but that that stuff I just kind of missed. Like I was about 4 years old when all that stuff really dropped, and I kind of missed like the window on that, because as I was getting older and getting into playtime, you know, like that stuff was kind of going out the window. And you know, you kind of like, you know, you're doing like your storytelling as a kid, playing, you know, with your toys at like 7, 8. You're just kind of developing those like storytelling skills. It's not till you get to be about 10 years old, 11 years old, that you really start to get into some really cool storytelling when it comes to playing with your action figures. And you're probably like, what is this guy talking about? But I think if you sit back and think about it for a moment, you'll remember exactly what I'm talking about. And so Ninja Turtles dropped. I was about 10 years old, 11 years old. Figures were cool. I loved the comic books. I had the black and white comics. I had the Archie comics. I had all the action figures. I loved the cartoon. It was like my absolute favorite thing. Not only did I love the Ninja Turtles, I loved all the side characters, just everything about it. It was just like, I couldn't get enough, you know. Growing up, watching, excuse me, watching horror movies, things like Swamp Thing, Toxic Avenger, like, you know, Ninja Turtles, like I absolutely fell in love right away. So when the live action movie came out, it was like it was a must see. Like, Dad, we have to go see this movie. And just the name alone, my dad loved. He didn't really know what the Ninja Turtles were all about. He knew they were like kung fu, giant turtles, you know. That's about, I think, you know, they liked pizza. Like, I think that's about as much as he knew and understood about, you know, the Ninja Turtles. But my dad loved the name. He absolutely loved the name, and he really liked Krang, the living brain from Dimension X that lived inside the belly of the robot thing. Like, he loved that whole idea. That was like one of his favorite things. I do remember. I think he wanted that in the movie. You know, we finally got that in the last film, but I think he wanted that in the very first live-action movie back in 1990, which would have actually been really cool. It would have been really fun to see something like that. But anyway. So my dad agreed, like, yeah, we'll go see it. You know, he just loved the name, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, it's just fun. It's just a fun thing to say, right? It's just an amazing, it still is, still to this day, at 42 years old, I love saying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's just a fun thing. So anyway, my sister, I don't think really cared to see it, and she was actually going to spend the night with some relatives, like a little sleepover kind of thing. And he dropped her off. He dropped my sister off. She was about a year younger than I was at the time. She was about 9. He dropped her off and took me to the movies. And again, if you were listening to some of my other stories about going to the movies and stuff growing up as a kid, I don't know, man. I think this is kind of got a Boss Ninja Turtles vibe to it. What do you think? Kind of see. Definitely see like Raphael maybe rocking something like that. Raph kind of likes a bike. Maybe Mikey. Mikey would definitely be rocking something like this, I think. He would like that sports car. Yeah, dude. Let's get this thing into 5th gear. Delivering pizzas and something like this, maybe, like on a side gig. Pizza will be there in like 30 minutes, dude. Just there in like 5. Anyway, so so he dropped my sister off, and we headed to the theater. Like I said, if you've listened to some other videos, like it was the Cloverleaf Mall theater, that he took me to, and we get to the lobby, get all checked in and everything, get our tickets. And before we even get our tickets, like I think as though like we're walking up, he gets a page. And for those of you who don't know what a page is, it's like a little pager, it's a little device. You you would call it. They had two different kinds. You could leave like a voice message, and it would like you could play it and listen to it. And look at these cars; these are some sweet cars. Um, but you could play them like a little message, like, "Hey Steve, this is so and so. Give me a call back at blah 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 blah." And then they had other pages where you could just like send a phone number. So like you'd get a beep beep beep, and you look down, it'd be like a phone number, and you call it back, and you'd be like, "Oh hey man, what's up?" And like your homeboy paged you or whatever. And anyway, so that was like the pre cell phone technology on how you would communicate with somebody if you wanted to communicate with them. So anyway, my dad got a page. It was from my aunt, who was like where my sister was staying, and she was just getting homesick. She was just like, I'm homesick. I want to come home. Blah 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 blah. And she needed to be picked up like right away. Like there was nobody there that could like drive her home or whatever. Like she was just kind of stuck there, and my dad had to leave to go pick her up. Well, I'm like standing in the theater, like I'm in the lobby. I don't want to leave. It's like I've been waiting months to see this. Every commercial, uh, every ad, just makes me want to see this thing more and more and more. So my dad's kind of stuck between like a rock and a hard place. He's got my sister going, Dad, Dad, please come get me, please come get me. I want to come home. And then he's got me, Dad, Dad, I don't want to leave. I'm not leaving. I want to see this movie. And I'm about to have like a fit myself. Like my sister's having a fit at my aunt's house, and I'm about to have a fit right now. I'm 10 years old. All I want to do is see this movie. So my dad decides, against probably better judgment of a parent, that he's just going to go ahead and buy my ticket, buy my popcorn, plop me down in the seat, tell me to sit right here, don't move, watch your movie, and I'll be back when it's over to pick you up. And like basically, you know, that's what he did, and it's probably not the the best parenting uh, out there. But most I think parents would be like, listen, we'll go see this tomorrow. I promise. I'm sorry, whatever. Just deal with it. We got to go get your sister, okay? I'm so thankful my dad went against probably his better judgment and decided to let me stay and watch the movie. And I remember him telling me, even to this day, he sat me down in the theater. He says, you do not get up. You don't talk to anybody. You don't leave with anybody. You don't do anything. He goes, you sit here, you watch the movie. When it's over, I'll be in the lobby waiting for you. It's like, all right, okay. I was so excited. I was so happy. I didn't care. I don't even remember touching my popcorn. I just like sat there in awe. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was it was such a great moment because excuse me, I'm still waking up. It's still pretty early. I don't even think it's like 8 o'clock yet. Uh, it was like the best moment of my life. I mean, it was what everything I'd been hoping for, everything I wanted. It's one of those movies today, like the original Ninja Turtles film. It still holds up to this day. I mean, uh, the work that was put into it with the Jim Henson crew and all the puppeteers and all the animatronic work. It's one of those things that like it just still holds up till this day. Great screenplay. I'm gonna go ahead and read off some names here about Bobby Herbick and Todd W. Langen. And then, of course, these are characters based off of the comic book created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. Now, I think Eastman is back as a consultant on the Ninja Turtle book, which is pretty cool. Um, But the movie directed by Stephen Barron was just absolutely like the perfect tone. Like I think as the movies went on, like two and three got a little brighter, got a little bit like, and I kind of feel like that's how everything's like. Batman Returns. The first couple were really dark. The last two in that like era were a little bit brighter. The same thing kind of happened with the Ninja Turtles, where the first one really held like a really dark pitch, and then as like the second and third one came out, they went a little more lighthearted, a little more colorful. Even though they had like the headbands that were red and blue and all that in the original movie, the tone, the wash, everything about the film was a little grittier. And when you got into the second film, it was just lit very bright. Like the Ninja Turtles look more vivid. They look a lot, more cartoony, if you will. If that even makes any sense to you guys, like trying to explain the look of the movie. But the original film was just really dark, really gritty, really wet. Again, one of those films where if you took the Ninja Turtles out and just kind of made it about like some crime fighting brothers, it would really hold up. It's just like kind of like a gritty New York crime story. So I just remember sitting in the theater, just like, again, never having seen anything like it, and it was done in such a way that you know I believed they were real after that. Like I honestly believed that the Ninja Turtles, it wasn't just a comic book, it wasn't just a cartoon, that possibly somewhere out there in the sewers, maybe even in my own hometown or in the sewers of the city just, minutes outside my neighborhood, there could possibly be Ninja Turtles lurking around. Now, part of the deal in this was that I don't tell my mom. I think that's something every dad just learns. Like as soon as the kid is born, the doctor like hands them a little card, and there's just like a couple of phrases on there that you're just gonna have to learn as a father. And one is like, "Don't tell your mom," because that was like I remember part of the deal. Like you sit here, you watch the movie, I'll meet you in the lobby, and no matter what, do you say anything to your mom about this? So yeah, my dad, got my sister, came back, got me. He may have taken my sister home first. I don't even remember my sister being in the car when he came to get me after the movie. Uh, but it blew my mind. It was absolutely phenomenal, and it's one of my favorite stories because not only was it like you know my first movie that I saw by myself, um, and not only was it Ninja Turtles, it's like it was like my favorite like franchise at that time. But it's just like there was like a cool story to it. Like a lot of people, they go see their first movie typically by themselves, probably like once they're adults and they're able to drive and they're on their own and they're working or whatever, and it's like, oh, let me go kill a couple hours and go watch a movie. To be 10 years old, to be able to sit in a theater by myself and just enjoy my favorite movie, it'd be like, yeah, Spider-Man being your favorite, absolute favorite thing in the world, your favorite comic, your favorite cartoon, and then the new movie comes out, and you just get to go see it by yourself, and you don't have to hang out with your mom and your dad or whatever. You just get to enjoy your Ninja Turtles by yourself and just kind of hang out. Like I think part of being a kid and growing up and watching your cartoons and stuff is being able to sit there with your bowl of cereal or whatever and just kind of enjoy it without your parents making fun of it or like bothering you even while you're watching it. And so it's just a cool moment. And like the turmoil my dad was facing, what do I do, my sister, like I said, she's freaking out. He's like, okay, my daughter, I need to go get my daughter, my son wants to watch this movie. I mean, just the conflict and the back and forth and that alone just always like kind of cracks me up a little bit. And then the fact the movie was good, it would have been different too if like the movie was awful, But it was just like a very cool trifecta, It was like my favorite thing. It was a great movie, and then it was just like a really cool story. And then like a lot of people are like, when I tell that story, and they're like, I can't believe your dad left you. Like, how old were you? I'm like, I was 10 years old. This was 1990. It was March 1990 when this movie came out. I don't know if I saw it like opening weekend or anything like that. I mean, I very well may have, but I was only 10 years old. You know, I mean, like literally, like my birthday's in January, so I was like a year. I mean, like like 3 months into that new year. So like I was like 10 years old, just by 3 months, and so like I was fresh. I was still like just turning into the double digits, and my dad was so awesome and let me. People are like, no, he wasn't awesome. That was very bad. It's like, no, my dad was very awesome, and letting me um, kind of hang out and enjoy uh, that movie. Um, and I mean, I'll probably go watch it today. Of course, it's still one of my favorite films. I think it's one of the best comic book movies ever made. A lot of people don't realize that I mean, the Ninja Turtles is a comic book movie. It's not just a cartoon, or it's not just an action figure. The Ninja Star, the Sins of Silver. I'll be able to talk in a minute. I'm still working on my coffee. I'm like looking at this coffee, like I need to finish this and get some breakfast and kind of really wake up a little bit. But uh, the Ninja Turtles, um, kind of started, like I said, this black and white kind of graphic comic book, which I had some of those, which again I was probably too young to be reading those as well. Uh, and then there was a cute little, like I said, Archie Comics put out a cute comic based off of the animated series. That was pretty neat. But it started off as a comic book, and became a really cool action figure line by Playmates. Playmates did a really cool action figure line, and they had the cool um, animated series on Fox. I believe it was on Fox. I'm pretty sure it came on Fox afternoons, like around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, it was just really cool. It was just something I was thinking about the other day when I was sharing my little movie stories with you guys. I was like, man, I remember my very first movie. I remember the very first movie I saw by myself, and it was just really cool. I don't remember the first movie I ever saw. I do remember watching Gremlins in the theater because that scared the crap out of me. Uh, I do remember my first date movie. I remember my first couple date movies. Those were pretty important. Um, and I remember, like I said, the very first movie I saw by myself back when I was 10 years old on this day, March 30th. How many years ago was that? Like, what, 22 years ago? 32 years ago? 32 years ago? That's crazy. Hold on, I'm going to do the. I suck at math. Math is like a foreign language to me, but I just want to, like, double check, make sure I know what I'm talking about. I don't even know how to do this. How do you. Like, I guess you do it like this. Yeah, 32. Okay, perfect. I guess that's how you do it. I'm trying to like figure it out. Help me out, guys. You guys are in school, man. You're supposed to be like helping me with my math and stuff. It's so funny. I was talking about this the other day, like, how this has nothing to do with Ninja Turtles, but just like how, you know, doing things like taxes and filling out applications and like going online, especially going online and doing the applications and all that. Resumes. Oh my gosh, a resume. Put a bullet between my eyes, please. Like, it's the most frustrating. It looks like the simplest thing to do in the world, but when I'm sitting down and doing it, I love to write, but it becomes like the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. And I'm like, I don't remember them really going over this in school. Like, I feel like we spent like an afternoon looking at how to fill out an application, and that was like basically it. Okay, R4 is telling me to wrap it up. We spent so much time like looking at like triangles. Like, I don't think I've ever used what kind of a triangle. You know, you have like what, like acute, right angle. What's the other one? Obtuse. Like you learn about all these like triangles and like what. I don't think I've ever had a conversation in my life since I've gotten out of high school where I've needed to describe to somebody what kind of a triangle I was talking about. Like, why didn't they spend more time going over like They should have spent like an entire semester going over resumes, job applications, all of that. But no, whatever. Anyway, um, speaking of school, it was really fun to go back to school too and be like, "Hey guys, I saw the Ninja Turtles movie," and they're like, "No way!" And then guess what? I got to watch it by myself. I don't think anybody believed me. I don't think anybody. I think it was one of those stories when I went back to school and told all my friends that I got to go see Ninja Turtles and that I got to watch it by myself. I don't think anybody anybody believed me. And then I remember this was hilarious when the second one came out. We were in I think fifth grade, and uh, we went to go see it as a class, but I'd already seen it like twice, I think, right? And I just didn't want to see it again. So I told my mom they were going to see Ninja Turtles, and she was like, "Oh, that's cool." I was like, "I know, but I've already seen it twice. I don't want to go see it again." And everybody thought I was like lying. They were like, "No, you haven't," because everybody wanted to go see it. And I'm like, "No, I'm telling you, my dad. Like I said, my dad took me to movies all the time." And I was like, "We've seen it twice. Like, I don't. The movie probably only been out for like a week or two, you know." But anyway, I stayed home and played Nintendo games all day. That was an awesome day too. So tons of fun stories associated with that franchise. But anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for listening. Shoot me a thumbs up. Make sure you comment down below. I'd love to hear some of your movie stories, or if you can remember like the first movie you saw by yourself, or who your favorite Ninja Turtle is, or if you've ever seen the original, or anything. Just shoot me a comment down below. Make sure you share this with somebody else who likes Ninja Turtles and video games and whatever. Make sure you subscribe, and remember, this isn't goodbye. Simply to be continued, and until next time, don't spend that quarter anywhere else. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Later.